What's the beef? Welcome to another episode of the Chef Fit podcast. My name's Cameron, and this lad over here is
POBG.
yes, the
Cam, I've got a win for you. I've got a win for you that I just remembered, right? I stuck it down there when we were getting started. I went on a big, massive cycle on Sunday. And then last night, Source said to me, Source is the wife, by the way, for those of you who's listening, carried away to work. She said, did you notice you didn't bring an inhaler with you on Sunday? And I was like, bing! Did you notice I haven't touched an inhaler since I started chefing?
mad. Are you asthmatic?
Yes, I'm fucking asthmatic.
Are you, yeah?
Yeah.
Fucking never told me that, you bollocks.
I forgot. I haven't touched an inhaler since we started.
Really, yeah? That's a fucking huge victory, man. Massive.
I didn't know.
Fucking hell, man. That's beast.
Because I'd get locked up real high in the chest, and I'd be like that. Like you can hear it in there if I push it out. But I'd be like that when I got off the bike if I did a big cycle, or if I cycled in the rain or in the winter, I would get like that. But since I joined Sheffield, I have not once fucking touched an inhaler.
Mad. That's great to hear, man. Really, really good to hear.
Yeah, boy, I didn't know. I completely forgot, like.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just wrote it down there now. I was like, here, by the way, don't forget to tell Cam he's a wizard and just fucking cured asthma.
Before we even dive more into the asthma, what's the crack with the fucking the scrawlings you got on that page there? What are you fucking?
Oh yeah.
What are you working with there? That's the blueprint of fucking Armageddon.
There's the blue. Yeah, that's one episode. That's another episode. That's an episode there. Here it just the big word on it says Quigo, but loads of lines underneath it because I was like, I'm calling that cunt out. Here's a good one for you, right? Where is it?
No one's ever called him Quigo ever in his life, by the way.
I know, yeah, big time, yeah. Quigo. I went to work with someone called Quigo. I don't know why. I don't know what this it says. Keelan.
It's my brother.
You know what that means?
My brother, pal.
Ah, there you go. See? Remember I said, what's your brother's name? And then I wrote it down. Here's a great one. I don't know if you can see this, but see if you can see what that says there.
Duck arse.
Duck arse. That was meant to be a question. That's from episode 10. I've had duck arse since I was about 8 years old.
Donald Duckback, pal. Posture.
No, do you know Raheem Sterling?
Yeah, the footballer, yeah.
Yeah, I have the same fucking inverted spine as him.
Yeah, the arch in the back with the arse sticking out.
Yeah.
Donald Duckback, pal. Lord Dose.
Yeah, I've had that since I was a kid. So these are my scrawlings because the first couple of episodes when I had something in my head and then I forgot about it, where I'd take something from this side of the desk and put it over here as a reminder, or put this and put it sideways on the desk and say, right, get that question or that point across, and then I completely forget. So now I have this, and then I can look back over it, and I don't look back over it and go, oh yeah, that's good. I look back over it and go, what the fuck is eagle pigeon? Eagle pigeon.
Don't even reference it. He'll hear something I'll say. He's going, you fucking stick it down, pal. Make sure I do that.
Big time. Eagle pigeon. That was that's because I remembered how am I supposed to soar like an eagle if I'm surrounded by fucking pigeons. We were talking about work environment. Well, you're not going to write that all down. So you write eagle pigeon, and then you look back a week later and go, the fuck is an eagle pigeon?
Have you had that same sheet of paper for every episode?
No, each to be very economical. Each sheet of paper is 4 episodes.
Very good. Look at that shit, folks. Make sure I ask you that question at the end of every episode. Have you put something down on your fucking scrolling paper there, pal? Anything on the blue?
Big time I have. Consistency breeds success. Big time. These are the important ones.
Dropping bombs, pal. What else?
Yeah, big time. We have when you learn to progress. I don't know where that came from, but that was something that I was supposed to lead into. And then I got straight into it. So just roll on. Environment, identity, and consistency.
Fucking get in there, son. And
Those are your 3 pillars of success. And then written over across the top of that for me was, this simplifies all.
Yep, 110%. And guess what? The 4th pillar.
Fisherman's friends.
You fucking better believe it, pal. Down the hatch. Full of fucking jelly beans. Anyway, this episode of the Chef Fit podcast is, after that really, really long-winded intro from myself and Peter, is basically that you have a choice between having a good life and a bad life, chef. You can choose to have a good one, or you can choose to have a bad one. And a fact of the matter is this: a lot of chefs feel they live a bad one. Very, very common. A lot of chefs play the victim. A lot of chefs will go, it's hard, isn't it? It's really tough. I got a message a while ago. I get this a couple of times. I get this from chefs a lot. That you wear the adversity like a badge of honor, which is somewhat fair enough. But you'll wear the hours, you'll wear the stress and the pressure and the fucking pain as a badge of honor. It's like you're a fucking martyr to the cause. It's like, my life is harder than your life, so fucking, and you'll punish yourself for no fucking for no reason, by the way, other than people like to look like they're the victim. People like to look like they're working harder and that they've got more, they should be getting more, what's the word I'm looking for? That they should be, sympathized. People should have sympathy for them, because they're doing so much work and they're working so hard. See, the problem with this kind of mentality is you actually are so worried about playing the victim and thinking that your life is this way because there's nothing you can do about it. You think that your life is this way, there's nothing you can do about it, so therefore you never do anything about it. And your life goes down a very, very strange path where chances are you're in your fucking mid-30s, mid-40s, and you absolutely fucking despise your career. You've got no balance. You've got no life. Chances are your kids have grown up and you've worked a fucking 80-hour week your whole life. And it's like you go, and then you'll get to that point and you go, fuck, should I have really done this? And maybe then you'll change your career completely. Or
you fucking pinged me at 32. You pinged me at 32.
Here we go.
Not just a bit, but exactly. Even the missing the kids, the hours, the stress, the fucking being a martyr, the whole lot of it.
Yeah. And
I didn't think, I just caught, right, yeah, go on, yeah. So what, you're being a martyr? No, you're not being a martyr. You're dead right. Everyone's fucking against you, So go back to work. You're busy now. Forget about it. It's not about you.
Yeah, totally.
And then at 32, I went, no, I don't have to.
Yeah.
And I did have a bad life, and I did choose to change it and have a good life.
Totally.
And this was a professional change I'm talking about, not a physical and mental change. But this all leads from one thing into the next thing.
Mm-hmm. This is what I'm talking about, though. This is what I want to talk about. That what a good, like, if you were to describe to me what a good life for you is, Peter, like, chances are it's going to be, right, well, I've got time to myself where I can go and do my exercise and I can fucking take care of myself physically. I've got time where I can spend with the kids, and I've got time where I can spend with my missus, and maybe I'm there for things that actually fucking matter, like going to their football matches or, being there for those moments as opposed to going or fucking instead of working every Christmas day for 10 years. To me, if I was in your position, or even for myself, it would be a similar answer, but I don't have kids yet, so I can't make that call, but I would imagine it would be that it's like you make time for the things that matter. That's what makes your life worthwhile. However, you spent your life buried doing fucking 16-hour days, 5 or 6 days a week, and it's someone else's fault. It's the industry.
Do you know what I used to think was important, Cam?
What?
Covers. Oh fuck! How That's not important how many covers I do. Do you know what I mean? It's bizarre to think of that now. I used to think, right, Saturday, you know, depending if I was in a big restaurant or a small restaurant, right, Saturday night, you know, 200 is the good marker, but I want to do 210. You know what I mean? I really want to do, fuck off. I don't give a shit about that anymore. That was a priority for me. That's not a priority for me anymore. And I'm being overly aggressive about how I'm telling them to fuck off, or that past life of
Should be
the actual
there, pal.
yeah the old fucking hashtag chef life thing. As soon as I turned around on that and said that's not what matters, you know, what matters is what's at home or what's here right now, and what was in work doesn't matter. And that kind of pinged on me, and I was like, holy shit, that's actually right. Let's have a little look at that. And then I took my first day job, and I was away from restaurants, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is great. Then I was like, right, now I'm gonna take the fucking weekends off as well. I was like, whoa, this is even better. And then I stopped being a head chef, and I was like, wow, I think I have it sussed now. Yeah. So now I go into work, I do my work, I work well, I work hard. When I'm in work, I'm proud of what I do. I don't put up a plate if I'm not happy with it. But as soon as I walk out of work, I'm not a fucking chef anymore. I'm me now. I'm Peter. I'm the GOAT. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a coach of a couple of football teams. I'm not a chef, and I don't give a shit about the covers. I don't give a shit about work tomorrow until I get in there. And once I prioritize that life, my whole life improved. Every single bit of it started to improve. My home life improved. I remember when Keelte, my youngest son, was going into first class, and I started to miss stuff. And then I remembered that I missed all this stuff with Killian, and Killian was like 5 years older. And I was like, shit, this is another cycle of the exact same things that I was pissed off about that I missed with him growing up, because I thought that how many covers I'm going to do on a Saturday night was important, or, you know what I mean, how the reviews are going to be, how high up the rankings this restaurant is going to be, about becoming the best Thai restaurant in Dublin. And then I look back at that now, and I think that I prioritise all of them things over watching my kids grow up.
Mad.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Mad. Talk about that for a sec. When you go, like, take it back to that like, what was the moment where you're like, nah, like, fuck this, like, this is not the life that I want to be.
I know exactly when it happened. I hired a chef, and he told me, he says that, look, for the first 6 weeks, as part of my breaking up from the last job, I'm going to have to cover the head chef's days off of Sunday and Monday for the first 6 weeks. So they would have been the chef's day, the head chef's days off in place like that is Sunday and Monday. So I had like a Tuesday and a Wednesday off.
Yeah.
And this is when Keelte was in first class. This is exactly the same time as when I realized this is how it came about. Mm-hmm. I was getting up on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I was getting up in the morning. I was getting sourced up and the kids up. I was having a cup of tea in the morning. I had breakfast with the kids. I was bringing the kids to school. And then I had my time during the day, and I was a big stoner at the time. So I was just going home, getting stoned and fucking off for the day. But then I was collecting the kids. We were going back home. I was making the kids a dinner, and I was doing the homework with them. And I was like, this is fucking deadly, you know? And I didn't have that when Killian was growing up. And when I had the Sunday and Monday off, on Sunday, you know, you're too bollocks to do that. So Source wouldn't turn around to me if I'm after working a 60, 70-hour week and I have 1 weekday off that Monday morning. She's not going to say, right, you're up at 7 tomorrow, you know, to do the school run. She'd say, you know, have you lie in, like, you know, that way she'd respect the hours that I was doing, how hard I was working. And when I noticed that, after doing a couple of weeks of having Tuesday and Wednesday off, which I thought back in the day, they're the shit days to have off, but it turned out I noticed that these were all the things that I was missing. And I was like, shit. And then I got back to having my Sunday, Monday off, which meant, you know, you could go wild on your Saturday night kind of thing, you know, and you're back to the head chef days off. And then when I went back to it, I was like, oh, look, I actually miss having that Tuesday and Wednesday off, because it was the family life that was more important to me. So with that, I exactly chose then. I said, right, there's absolutely no way I'm going to continue on doing this. The hashtag chef life, this doesn't matter. And it didn't matter, but I thought it did matter to me. Now, I wouldn't be in the position to get the jobs that I have now if I hadn't have gone through that and gotten my experience in various different types of cuisine and doing head chef's jobs in loads of different types of places. But so I do appreciate what I went through to get to where I am now, but I also would have likened to realize that 10 years ago when Killian was a young lad, rather than noticing what was important for me and my family when my older lad was like 9-10 years old. Do you know what I mean?
But I think you've something important that you touched on here, and I'm not saying that you have to potentially go Peter's route, which was, okay, I am going to make a massive career choice where I am going to create more time for myself, and I am actively going to remove the bullshit, the stress, and the ego because my perspective has changed. There's obviously a time and a place for everything in your life. Like, you should probably spend your 20s pushing your capacity for what you can do. You know what I mean? Because like, if you don't have a family and all of these things, it's like, try and push your career to the fucking max. Try and push yourself to the limit of what you can do, because that's where the lessons are going to be learned, and that's where you learn from the mistakes. I think for the majority of chefs, though, who might be listening to this, who are like fucking late 20s, getting into their 30s, potentially having a family, very similar to where you were, Peter, it's like, once you've paid your dues, once you've gotten to the stage where you understand that, okay, cool, I've lived the fast life, I've done all the hours, I've done all of those things, and now I know that that's potentially not going to be a runner for the rest of my life. It's not going to be something that's going to work long term. And I think that's a decision that you made, mate. Is like, I'd rather be there to fucking do my, help my sons with their homework, or go and coach the football team, or be around for those things, because those are the things that actually matter. Like, you're not going to wake up at 45 and go, Jesus, I'm glad I did those services for 25 years. It's like, no, there was a time and a place for it, but eventually you need to either push your career to the point where you've got a restaurant that's making a lot of money, you've got more time and you've got more balance, and you've got, you're prioritizing the things that matter. But if you're falling into the gray area, that's when it gets weird. That's when it becomes a problem for me. And I think there's a lot of gray area with chefs. There's a lot of like, you haven't really pushed it. Camera's gone mad. You haven't really pushed it to the point where you've created your own freedom, whether that's opening your own place or fucking whatever the fuck it is. Or, you know what I mean? You haven't gone the other way, which is like, okay, cool, I'm not going to deal with the fucking bullshit and the stress, and I'm actually going to make a smart decision here for my own health, mental health, and my family. And I'm going to fucking, whether that's you go the agency route, whether you go into catering, contract catering, whether you're going into fucking, you might even go into like, having a food truck, something along those lines, and actually being a bit more fucking enterprise-like with it. But there's guys who fall in the middle ground. It's the guys who are doing the fucking 70 hours a week, and they've been fucking doing the same role for years on end, and they don't derive any satisfaction from what they're doing. And it's like, dude, what, like, where are you going? You know what I mean? Where are you going? And I think you've got to understand and make a decision. Obviously, the message that I push consistently is make the best of your situation. Make the change, get your health in order. Get yourself to a point where you're fucking happy in yourself, you're in a good place physically and mentally, and everything else will usually take care of itself. But from a career standpoint, if it's not fucking working for you, you've got to change it. You've got to change it. You got to be real with yourself. Like for you, Peter, yeah. If you had stayed doing what you were doing, you had stayed in that head chef role, in that fucking Thai restaurant. And I know what you've told, some of the shit that you've told me about working there and the fucking nights that you have. And it's like, if you had stayed doing that, where do you think you'd be right now?
I wouldn't say I was too far off a heart attack now towards the end there, to be honest, with the hours, the stress, and the alcohol and the Red Bull.
Yeah. And that's just your
time,
health. Yeah. That's just your health. Where do you think your family life would have been? How much shit would you have missed?
I wouldn't be able to be coaching Killian's football team, first of all, so I wouldn't see any of that. I wouldn't be able to, like, my wife now works an extra night.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be that there. Me and Kielty, the lad that you were talking to earlier on, we now have a special buzz on a Friday night where we get messy, you know what I mean? And we have our pizza night or our movie night and stuff like that. That's every Friday night. And then every Saturday night is me, Killian, and Kielty. When Sarge works Friday nights and Saturday nights, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's brand new to me, and I'm buzzing off it. I really, really am. That's why when we're in the group, that's why I push this so much, you know? Because I wish somebody told me that when I was 26 rather than 36.
Yeah. And it's not, it's so true, man. There's a lot, like I went through this exact same thing. Obviously, you know, take the family out of it. But like in building something like Chef Fit, I have basically built a life for myself out of nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's a business and it's an organism and it's something that I run. But it's a lot of responsibility and it's pressure, good pressure, because I have to build and I have to lead and I have to fucking make sure the thing is growing. But it also gives me freedom that no one tells me what the fuck to do anymore. You know what I mean? And it's no longer that I've had to work every weekend for 5 or 10 years. I've worked every bank holiday. I've worked every fucking, every Christmas Eve. Like all those things that I would look at other people's lives and go, motherfucker, I wish I had that. I wish I had that. And what somewhere along the line, it was like, man, I could make a choice here. I have a choice. I could do something and change my life. But it depends where you're at the same time. It depends where you're at. Like, if you're not in the shit and you're enjoying what you're doing and you don't have a family and you fucking enjoy the pressure and you're learning your craft and you're building towards the fucking end goal, that's great. Like, my brother's a good example of that. Still works his bollocks off, and I saw him work through the trenches, and I saw him, whilst being in the trenches, he said, I'm going to make a change. When he turned 30, he was like, cool, I want to get healthy now. I want to change what I'm doing. So he did, and he's been playing piano and learning jiu-jitsu, and he's going to the gym, and he's very active, and he's much healthier, and he's in great condition, and he's opened his own place, and it's fucking absolutely flying. And that's one route you can go, but it's very rare that people get to that point where they have their own.
His name is Keelan.
Yeah, not with an I though, pal. That's how you spelled it. But bollocks. Anyway, it's like, you can maybe somewhere along the line you have to understand that where you're at. It's like, if you're building towards something big like that, maybe keep your fucking head down and keep going. But if you don't feel that you're ever going to get to the point where you own your own restaurant and you're fucking making loads of dough, and it doesn't happen like that, by the way. I watched my brother struggle through fucking insane adversity. For any of those who go, I'll open a restaurant, I watched my two brothers build a fucking restaurant from an empty shell with no floor, on no budget, with half a fucking loan from the bank, and get it fucking open. And that's what Variety Jones is now. And I've never seen someone overcome such a fucking adversity in my life to see those lads open that place. But anyway, that's like, if you're not building towards that, then it's like, cool, make your situation better or change your situation, or do fucking both, which is what Peter did. He's a good example. He's a fucking perfect example, actually. This is why this episode, when I thought about this episode, I was like, no, Peter would actually, he is the case study here. He is the guy who was in the fucking shit and he decided to make that change. And now here we go. Look at him. Look at him. Champ.
Look at him go. It's a champ. You know what somebody said to me? Somebody said it to me, right? It's a chef friend of mine, Claire, who had gotten into the daytime work before me. And I was getting a bit pissed off, and I was like, man, what I said was, I'm thinking about going into this place here, this different restaurant. And she was like, so why are you going into another fucking restaurant? And I said, because this restaurant is fucking me over now. And you go, is it the restaurant that's fucking you over, or is it the industry? And I was like, yeah, I know it's the industry, but the way I can change that is by changing restaurant, go to a different restaurant, a fresh start in a new restaurant. Do you think people that work like office jobs turn around every bleeding 8 months and go, I'm going to have a fresh start now, I'm going to switch to a different office?
Yeah.
No, they don't.
No.
And what she said to me, she sat me down one time and she said, Chef, Are you going to do that to a retiring age? Are you going to be running around in a toy restaurant, sweating balls off, screaming and shouting? And I wasn't really a screamer or a shouter, but working in that stressful environment, would you physically be able to run around and do that to a retirement age?
Fuck no.
And I was like, no. He said, no, of course you can't. But you're going to have to start now. If you want, you want to stay within this career, we're in cooking, we're in the culinary arts, then you're going to have to start now, bring yourself away from that Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, all splits now. And I was like, right, I'll have a look at it. And it was within a month then I took the job as head chef in the Bacon Hospital.
There you go.
Never looked back.
Yeah, there you fucking go. And it's like, I respect that, and it takes courage to make those decisions. A lot of people will not face the facts. I speak to so many chefs. It's like fucking. The reason I understand chefs so well is because I speak to I speak to the majority of them. You know what I mean? Daily. And you hear some shit, like you hear fucking. It's just like neglect. It's like you're burying your fucking head in the sand and pretending like it's not happening. It's like you're telling me that you haven't had sex with your wife in fucking a year. Like your kids don't fucking really talk to you anymore. Your days off, you're lying on the couch face down. And it's like, you're not even facing up to the fact that this is happening to you. And you haven't even contemplated change. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Get your finger out of it. The same way you would get a bollocking in the kitchen, you deserve to get a fucking bollocking in your life for the neglect.
Yeah, big time.
The lack of fucking ownership. It's like, fucking get it together, son. You want your life to be better? Fucking go ahead and make it happen. Make a decision. Do the right thing. This is a concept that I've kind of been diving into, and we'll finish on it. It's like when I think about when I lead Chef Fit and I lead this movement, it's like I can't lead unless I know the truth about myself, and I'm okay with the truth about myself, and that I talk about my truth, and then that allows me to lead. And when I lead, it means I'm unshakable. But to lead, it means doing the right thing. Doing the right thing. I think a lot of people don't do the right thing. It's hard to do the right thing. What does that mean? It means that when you're neglecting your family and your life's not going the way you want it to go, but you've got a handy little number of work and you're getting well paid, the right thing to do is make a fucking decision for your family. Do you know what I mean? And this goes across. I used to teach personal trainers how to be personal trainers. After I left the service industry, I was teaching courses on top of my coaching, and I would come across people all the time who were like, this is just a stupid example, but people who were working 9 to 5 jobs for fucking 10 to 20 years, who fucking hated their life, despised what they were doing, but they were on a handy wage. So what they would do is like, oh, I'm into fitness. I really want to make this my dream, and I really want to do this for the rest of my life. Because they fell in love, because people fall in love with going to the gym or whatever. They want to make it they want to make it a job, and they want to make a career out of it. And when it comes time to jump and actually commit to doing the fucking thing required to make that happen, they don't do it. They're full of excuses. Oh, well, Jesus, I don't want to take the risk financially. It's like when I left the service industry and I went to qualify to do my personal trainer course, and I went to fucking start pursuing this passion of mine, which was coaching people and making people fucking better and helping people. Like, I went all in. I did not leave myself plan B. I burnt the fucking boats. And it was like, no, this is what I'm going to do, because I know this is the right thing to do for my future. If I hadn't made that decision to fucking sell my car, quit my job, move back, sleep on fucking mum's couch, and make like £100 a week making £100 a week for about 6 months, struggling to fucking eat and fucking getting a dart and 2 buses to get in and out of work, where I was working for fucking £15 a day doing a 10-hour day. And it's like, the decision will come where you can either do the right thing or you can do the easy thing. And you need to do the fucking right thing. And if you do the right thing, you're living a good life. If you continue to take the fucking easy route, you're always going to get what you got. So fuck this mentality of it's the industry and it's fucking this and it's that. The only person shafting you is you. That's harsh. The only person shafting you is you. No one put you in the position that you're in right now. No one put you there. No one forced you there. ISIS isn't knocking on your fucking door and lobbing off your brother's fucking head, chap. No one put you there. You understand me? So like, we all have choices. We all have calls to make. Sure, it gets hard. Sure, you could be fucking in a tough situation. Sure, the industry doesn't pay fairly. Sure, there isn't fucking rights for employees that are enough. Sure, there isn't holiday pay. Sure, there isn't sick pay. Sure, the fucking place is understaffed. But at the end of the fucking day, it gets no benefit to anyone, anywhere, to keep bitching and moaning without action. If you wanted to change, fucking let's get a union going. Why don't we fucking group in a mass exodus and do something about it instead of bitching and moaning? And the other thing is, because you keep fucking bitching and moaning, you never make your life better, regardless of changing the industry from the inside out and actually forcing it to fucking start taking care of the people who work within that industry. You'll choose to latch on to the fact that the industry has a problem, and then you'll use that as a fucking scapegoat to not sort your shit out. That's an issue, man. That's a problem. Peter made that call. He knew that he was on a heightened enough. You can't fucking live with that stress and that pressure for that long and have a family and have a healthy relationship at home. It doesn't work.
It creeps up on you. It creeps up on you. The realization of that, how the industry bears down on top of you.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't just happen overnight. Like if it happened overnight, then you could get your head around it. Say, right, well, no, I won't let that happen tomorrow. When you've been in there, when you've been balls deep in it for 15 years, and then you realize it, you go, that actually did just kind of creep in on me. Remember 5 years ago, I loved this, you know?
Totally. And when you get to that point, it's important to jump. But I also get the indication that, like, it's a very simple concept that if you don't like your fucking situation, you can't live your life on your knees. It's this whole idea of compliance. That's why I don't buy into a lot of political correctness. I don't like someone telling me if I offend someone, if I offend you by saying something, fair enough, I won't say it because I don't want to offend you personally. But when people jump on the bandwagon and go, you can't say that, and it's like, fuck you. I do not comply with that. You're trying. I'm not living on my knees because you told me to fucking say something. Do you know what I mean? This is me coming from, like, I believe, like, I fucking, you know what I mean? I'm totally for every part of equality. I want everyone to be fucking equal. I want everyone to be helped along. Like, I don't believe in any kind of patriarchal fucking thought process, but it's like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to live my fucking life on my knees. Don't tell me what the fuck to say. And this same concept rings true in the rest of your life. It's a philosophy. That's what ownership is. Don't let someone else dictate your life. Don't let someone else dictate what the fuck's going on. You dictate it. You live life on your fucking terms. And realize that you have a choice, man. You have a fucking choice. It's not a mystery. You have a call to make.
Don't be a martyr, because you know what? You don't fucking have to be a martyr. Before you bring it into the part, do you remember in week 2 when you were putting together a case study and you gave us this survey to fill out?
Yeah.
And there was, how many of us was there at the start?
In the original group?
Yeah, in the original block when we did in the first 30.
14.
So you did it was like a case study that you were doing. So you gave us a survey to fill out, and then you put together a case study of a typical chef stuck in the shits, right? And then, so you wrote that down, right? And it was in blocks all the way down. And I remember I was reading it, and I was like, Cam, you fucking hiding behind my couch taking notes, right? And I remember I was texting Liam, and I was like, we were talking about that, right? About that. I says, so whatever it was, say if it was like 15 points, right? And then at the end of it was like, here's what we can do. All of them 15 points. I was like, I actually tick all them boxes. So I was wondering if it was like, is this just specifically me? And then Liam was like, no, do you know what? I tick every single one of them fucking boxes too. Turns out you can't be a martyr because we're all the fucking same.
Yeah.
You're not special.
Totally. Massive point. That's
None of
huge.
us are.
That's a big point. You make the
Yeah, it
choice
was
to be the
huge.
martyr. You know, you make the choice to be the martyr. But the reason that I get fired up about it, and so do yourself. Like, I've had chefs tell me that it's like, nah, I could fucking do the hours, I could do this, I could do that. And then it's like, you got their, like, they'll be telling me that their mates have fucking killed themselves who are chefs.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Man,
When they're going around, they're making excuses for not getting the work done.
yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't have the time, I don't have this, and blah blah blah, and all these people fucking call in sick, and now I have to work, and then that happens, so now I have to do that, and then these two guys aren't here, so now I have to do that by myself, and I'm saying, here, guess what? You don't have to anything, especially when it comes to work. You don't have to anything. You need to take the stress away. One major way you can take stress away. If you can take the stress of work away, half your stress is gone.
Yeah. Big time.
And if you just need to prioritize it, you know.
Big time. Sure, you can create the life that you want, and I know that sounds fucking. It's far harder than it sounds.
I know that now because I'm in the process of creating the life that I want. If you had said that to me 2 years before I stopped working in restaurants, I would have said, no, sure, I have to do this.
Yeah.
I'm a chef. So as a chef, I'm competitive. So I have to be the best at what I'm doing in my field. Also, I have to get the most money that I can. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to do a lot more work and work with less staff. I'm going to have to do more hours. And then you go, no, what? You don't have to. You really, really don't have to.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have believed you.
Of course you don't, because that's the mentality of an entire industry of people.
And if 100 people hear this, and one person goes, do you know what? They're right. Then that's a massive win.
Yeah.
Because it does have. You do have to realize it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not for everybody, but I'll tell you what. One thing that is for everybody is what I said earlier on, that you cannot be running around doing service on a Saturday night when you're fucking 67 years old. Can you imagine? Shitting yourself.
There's a
table 8 away.
Yeah. Chefs are one of the chef groups I was on posted, and I saw some chef that said, I think he was 66 years old, and he was talking about his career, and fucking fair play to him. Hats off. But fuck me. He looked like fucking, I don't know if you remember WWE, he looked like fucking Gangrel from fucking if you put Gangrel in a fucking tumble dryer for about 50 years and took him out, this is what that lad would look like. Fucking leather face, blood fucking dripping from his mouth, and it's his own.
He was actually 34.
Yeah, exactly. I'm 31 years old. But yeah, cooking has ruined my life. But it's like, if that's what you love to do, man, and it's not affecting anyone else, fucking rock on. But fuck me, like, I know 98% of people will be like, yeah, nah, can't do that, sorry. And you won't do that. You won't. And you'll burn out and you'll fucking drop out of a career at 45 and you're unqualified to do fucking anything else. I'm not saying drop out of the industry. A lot of people will listen to this and go, fuck you, like, fucking, I love being a chef. It's like, yeah, 110%. It depends on the situation. Depends on the situation you're in. If you know your life's not going the way you want it to go, then chances are you need to make some big decisions. You do that by making the right fucking call. That's what I'd say. You know, that's what I'd say. So with that in mind, that was a fucking intense episode. That was a real intense episode. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, you fucking freak. And then Podbean, if you're listening to it, follow the profile, subscribe to the channel.
Give us a share. Share this episode in particular. And if there's someone that you know needs to hear this episode, send it to them directly.
100%. A 5-star review on iTunes when I upload it.
The backlog.
Get in, son. Get in. Right. With that in mind, that is the Chef Fit podcast for this time. This time only. Peter has got a mustache pencil, and I have just got a mustache. And I'm going to suckle on
This
it.
is episode insert number here.
Yeah, I can't remember what fucking episode it is. I fucked up the episodes way back. I think we were going. I think I did like 7, 7, 8, 8, 9. Not like a fucking cabbage. Anyway.
Yeah, this is episode R.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, lads.
Peace.
Peace. Stay safe, Petey. Catch you later, bro.